Welcome back to my channel. This is the Jersey Sports Nation. If you haven't already, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and also hit that bell. Now, what I want to talk about is Stephen A. Smith. Everybody hates Steve. Yeah, so I want to talk about a little bit of backlash he's getting from his former co-employees, and what they're saying about his criticism against the Asian baseball player who is dominating the MLB right now. Real quickly, I want to play this video with Keith Olbermann and basically just the problems that's happening with his statement. And then I'll give you my 2 cents after that.
Anti-Asian violence rose last year by nearly 150% in this country and has risen another 164% this year. And in that context, it is simply not acceptable for a leading commentator on the leading national sports network to announce that a Japanese player cannot be the face of baseball because he uses an interpreter, and for the network to then say nothing about the remarks nor do anything about the man who made them. The fact that you've got a foreign player that doesn't speak English that needs an interpreter, believe it or not, I think contributes to harming the game to some degree when that's your box office appeal. Stephen A. Smith went on to say that the face of baseball can't be Shohei Ohtani, the Japanese pitching and hitting star of the Angels. It needs to be, Smith said, somebody like Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, those guys. That Ohtani is somehow not American enough for baseball is exactly what baseball people used to say about Roberto Clemente, and before him, Jackie Robinson. In any context, this is racism. In the America of 2021, however, racism in all directions has been weaponized by Trump and his cult, most recently against Asians, with the excuse for hatred being that COVID-19 originated in China, as if that had anything to do with people of Asian descent anywhere. In this environment, to suggest that a sport or any entertainment business can't have for its marquee figure a Japanese man who uses an interpreter because he speaks excellent English but doesn't want to be misunderstood is not just stupid and hateful, but dangerous.
First off, Stephen A. Smith, honestly, I think you should have not apologized. You should have stuck on your grounds. That's what the amendments are for. We have the right to free speech. And for this guy, Keith Olbermann, obviously he's a serious, hard Democrat fighting for the Democratic Party. So with Stephen A. Smith, he should not have apologized at all. That was a huge mistake on his part. Because if no one sees this, what this is they're trying to tear down the African American man. Think about it. This guy got the biggest contract on ESPN. Anytime an African American man is running things, they get attacked, they get neutered. Look at Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby tried to own NBC. He was going to buy it, and then all of a sudden he gets all these verbal and physical attacks. Now you also look at Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson owned Sony. And all of a sudden they decided to come out with all these allegations against them. And this is no different with Stephen A. Smith. He's making about $12 million a year. Yes, I'm pocket watching. Then you have Maria Taylor. Shout out to her. I hope that she get everything that she can get. But she's destroying that company. And this is why I say that. Now, Rachel Nichols, not defending her at all. That's her true feelings, because she's another one. She attacks men as well. And we can go on to another video about that. But she was recorded illegally on her statements. And they knew these comments was out last year. This was during the NBA bubble of 2020. Just so happened they put the audio out right in the final. This was perfect timing. NBA Finals. Rachel already lost her job being a commentator, sideline reporter on the finals. Then she wants a contract. Her contract is renewed Maria Taylor's contract should be up July 26th. I think it's going to be Game 6 of the NBA Finals, where she might leave ESPN. So she claimed that she wants men money. She wants Stephen A. Smith's money. This is perfect opportunity to try to get it. It's a women takeover. If people don't see it, perfect timing. Now, when it comes to Stephen A. Smith, he's a pawn. He's a pawn for ESPN. He's getting paid all this money to be a pawn. Usually what companies do is they can't talk about African Americans like they want to, because they're going to get criticized. It's like if you say this thing with the critical race theory, anything they do is going to be racist. So what do? They hire a black person that will talk about black issues. After all, sports is nothing but black people, right? 70-80%. So in order for someone to critique them, they hire African Americans, which African Americans want the jobs. They want to be the NBA coaches and different things like that. That's fine. But they're paying him to talk about black people. Kwame Brown, shout out to him. He discussed this. They don't just talk about the game. I think, I don't mind being critiqued about the game because that's what we watch. That's the product. But when they go down and talk about their family, as a Stephen A. Smith, like, get off the weed and talk about all these things, that's when you go way beyond a journalist when it comes to sports. In Philadelphia, he worked at the Philadelphia Inquirer. Then he became a reporter with the Philadelphia 76ers. And if it wasn't for put respect on Iverson's name, he would not be where he's at. That's a fact. He's a hard worker, don't get me wrong. He's been on the radio since 2005, working hard. So I'm not going to say he's a very hard worker. And I do believe he deserves all the money he's getting. He's worth that. Now, as far as his basketball knowledge is not as good as he think it is, most of his predictions are wrong. So he's bringing the money though. Now, right now, ESPN made a bunch of cuts in the last 5 years. I think they fired about 500 employees, and some of the top people like Mike Golick got fired and different things like that. And that's one of the reasons is because they're not making any money. No one's watching ESPN anymore. They have too much competition. Back in the 90s, there was no YouTube. Right now, we just want to watch the highlights, get to the point. And we have so many people putting out the videos and the highlights, so we don't need them. ESPN. And now, even now, Skip Bayless started this debate with two people debating about a sport. And now there's way more companies in competition to that. Because it started out with First and 10, Cold Pizza, and then they started First Take. And then Skip Bayless left and started another company like that, which is taking away a lot of their business. But again, Stephen A's a hard worker. He deserves what he gets, and I'm not hating. The problem I have is they're neutering you, Stephen A. Smith. Like I said, everybody hates Steve. They want your money. They want to get you out of there. I'm not saying that ESPN want to get them out of there. I'm saying the people around them. They're trying to destroy you. When you have to apologize, and the crazy thing is you don't apologize for stuff you say about African American people, but they make you apologize when you talk about those women. Do you remember the Ray Rice? Do you remember the Ray Rice? Do you remember the Ray Rice situation? When he basically said that he feels sorry for the women. However, sometimes women provoke men to do that. And he had to apologize for that. They suspended him for that. Neutered him. Then, fast forward to this. This is what they hire him for, but they said, no, you only can talk about black people, particularly black men. After all, that's what we hired you for. We ain't tell you to talk about these other people. And that's the problem. He having all this controversy for something he was hired to do by them. So tell me what you think about this video, man. Tell me if you agree with Keith Olbermann or you disagree. Leave a message, comment below, and I'll see you on the next video.